Hey, today we're going to do something a little different with Google Authenticator. I'm going to show you an application in Java with Spring Boot 3, and it'll create a QR code for Google Authenticator, allow you to save the information and the secret for it, and then to use it on your mobile device, get a number, and authenticate. So I'm going to jump right into it. A lot of people have asked that I simply show the code rather than type and build it. So we're going to try that for this application. Let's dive into it. So I built this application with IntelliJ and I called it Fast2FA-GA. And let's see what it looks like. First thing we have is a Mongo configuration. And what this does is fairly simple. It just remaps the class so we don't have an underscore class in the MongoDB. Functionally doesn't do anything other than that. I have a simple REST controller, and in our REST controller I have two endpoints. I have /API/v1/register, and that you send in a name and an email. It will take that and it will call my register service, and it will actually go through and create a QR code. So I have a register service. Let's take a look at what that looks like real quick. In our GA service, I get the company name from the application properties. Company name is Dr. Evil. And then here we also have a connection for a MongoDB. Let's see what all we have in here. To register a new user, I send in the name and the email. I generate a random secret, base 32. I generate a QR code based on that secret and the email. Let's go through and see what that QR code looks like. And what I've done is I'm calling this OTP auth, which is a Google endpoint, with some parameters. And that's going to be encoded in this QR code. What I'm doing in here in the QR code is I'm using qrcodetech-it.com to create that. You'll see a lot of examples of this online, and they're using Google Charts that no longer works. So this is a new URL that seems to work well. Okay, so we go through. When we register, we generate QR code. I create a new user, and let's see what the user looks like in the user model. So there's ID, name, email, and a secret. Takes that information and inserts it into MongoDB and returns back a QR code. Great. We then take that QR code and we scan it on the phone. Now, when we're ready, we will use that information to call a post to authenticate, and we'll send in the email as well as a code from the phone. It will go through and it will authenticate the user in our service again. Our service authenticate is very simple. We send in the email and the code. It will do a query through MongoDB using the email, and I always convert email to uppercase. When I save it, it's uppercase, and when I query it, it's uppercase. So it finds that. If it finds it, then it will try to use the TOTP, and I'm using the JBoss library, and that's a TOTP means time-based one-time password. Okay, so I get this information based on the secret, and I verify it based on the code. So this will tell me whether that code matches, and the code has to be entered within about a minute or so. There's a pretty short window that you have to get the information. And if it is verified, I return the user. Otherwise, I return null. So back in the controller, very simple. I go through, I authenticate. If I return the user, I clear out the secret. No reason to bring that back to the user. And I respond to that with an OK. Otherwise, I return back with a small message that says invalid email or code and HTTP status of unauthorized. Okay, So let's go ahead and run this, and let's see what it actually looks like to get this guy up and running. I'm going to use Postman, and I'm going to call our register with my name and a new email. Okay, and now I get back a QR code. I'm going to open this QR code, and I'll open that in the browser. Okay, and in this browser, I will now take and I will scan that. I'll go into my mobile phone, into the Google Authenticator application, and I'm going to scan that. Hitting the plus on the Google Authenticator, and select Scan QR code, and that is now added into my phone, and I see a number, and it's cycling through. Great. So that's the start of everything. So now that we have that, and I've stored the secret in the database in association with this email, now my next call, I'm going to call a post using that email. Again, here's the email, and I'm just going to type in some numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'll make the call, and it's going to come back with unauthorized, invalid email or code. So in this case, I'm going to put the code from the phone, 304-166. We'll send that. Oop, it's cycle past again. So 820-857. There we go. And so that brings back the information. Our ID, this is a MongoDB ID, the name, the email, and the secret. I cleared that out because there's really no reason to bring that out. So that's the basics of the code, and that's how it works. Using Google Authenticator is extremely easy. I've enjoyed it. I've used it for a lot of applications, and it's always easy to set this up. You can also set this up with Spring Boot security, but this example is just a standalone. So you can very quickly add this to your site and have the users register. You can have the users register, create a QR code. They can scan that QR code onto a mobile device. Then they can use that code to log in. Hope you've enjoyed the video. Please take a look at my other ones. Please let me know if you prefer me showing you the finished code rather than actually talking through writing the code. I'll include the code for this in my GitHub and in the description for the video. Thank you.